Greetings and welcome to Pickled Watermelon Rinds, a guilty pleasure podcast featuring Auntie Joan and Auntie providing our zesty and marginally mature take on current events, pop culture, and trends. Now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hello, Auntie Joan.
Hi, Auntie.
How are you this fine day?
Oh, I'm doing all right. How about your own self?
Oh, just fine, thanks. We're having a beautiful fall day today. It's sunny and the aspens are changing, which makes me happy.
I'm going to have to come up and take a gander at those aspens.
You should. They're quite
Yes,
beauteous. Quite beauteous.
yes.
Makes me happy.
And you can see them right from your own deck, huh?
I sure can. I don't have a full forest full, but I've got quite a few. And mine are just
Nice.
starting to change. The ones across the street are in full peak color right now. So it's
Ooh,
very,
yeah. So
very nice. Mine are just
better
started.
sooner than later, huh?
That's right. That's right. Doesn't last long. So pretty. So, why don't you tell us what's been going on in your world, Auntie Joan?
Oh, yeah. It's not good. Not good.
Uh-oh.
I kind of noticed an odor coming up from the basement air steps. It kind of wafted up.
Mm-hmm.
And so finally, after I left denial, the
Mm-hmm.
state of denial, I went down to take a gander at what could possibly be the reason. And there I saw it. The sewer had backed up yet again. This is the second time in 5 years.
Mm.
I've been having the rotor-rooter people come out and rooter out my drain, my sewer yearly. So I try to keep up with that. And it just, oh my gosh, it was just awful. So called the insurance because I do have sewer backup insurance. And then I had the sewer guy come out and remount the pipe out to the sewer. That kind of got the water down. There was some standing sewage water too, like maybe a half an inch to a 3/4 of an inch deep.
Mm.
And so that went down and he did clean up a little bit. And then I got my guys out that cleaned up 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been having air scrubber running for almost a week now, 24 hours a day. So I'm not looking forward to getting my Excel bill. And then they had dehumidifiers running for 24 hours for a couple days. And yeah, it's not pleasant, that's for sure. Took out the 2 feet, from the floor up. They took the 2 feet of wallboard out.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple areas that tested positive for asbestos in the flooring or the drywall. I think there was some in a drywall area too. So it's been a challenge. And I'll tell you, hearing that air scrubber running 24 hours a day, as soon as I walk into the family room, the sound just keeps coming up and it's just kind of wearing on me.
Oh, how much longer do you have to run that?
I would think maybe by the weekend he might have that off.
Okay.
So, yeah. And they really are conscientious about not bringing any stuff up. So they go in and out to the basement through my egress windows.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they hauled all that crap up that they dug out or took out all up through the egress windows. It's just, I mean, he did a pretty fantastic job so far from the pictures he sent me. They put up a barrier, plastic barrier
Mm-hmm.
to keep all the airborne asbestos or anything that might come out. And the one by the doorway that goes into the basement, they put in one of these plastic things with a zipper. Because I told him my cat, Oscar, was probably hiding down there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, I can put the zipper in thing and just leave it unzip so, he can come out that way. I said, yeah, that's probably a good idea rather than having him claw through the plastic. He didn't come up. And this, I think, was Friday. Yeah, he didn't come up all day. And they moved all the stuff that was in my sewing room into like Larry's airplane room, wherever they could find space to shove stuff. They moved it out of there. So, yeah, so he was hiding somewhere. And Jesse, that's the guy that's been doing the cleanup, he said he looked for him everywhere and didn't see him down there. And he, Oscar did not come up, did not come up. And then all of a sudden, I hear this pushing at the plastic
Mm-hmm.
down there in the doorway. And I get up and I look, and it's Isis. She took herself down there to look around, see what's going on. And then,
Nosy.
well, she went through, she found the way through the zipper thing, and then she couldn't find her way out. So she's going back and forth, trying to figure out how to get out. Finally, she found the zipper opening and came up, but oh my gosh. So I don't know, maybe a couple hours after that, like maybe 10 o'clock at night, all of a sudden Oscar comes up, and boy, was he mad. He was mad. He was yelling at me for quite a while.
Mm.
Fortunately, he hasn't gone back down, and maybe that's why he's up there, staying as far away from the basement as he can get. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's my
Oh.
story, and I'm sticking to it. It sucks.
Yeah, I'm sorry going through that. That sounds awful.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Well, as they say, shit happens.
Indeed. Indeed. So,
Mhm.
what can you do going forward to make sure it doesn't happen again?
Other than cutting down the tree in front, just make sure like I said, I've been getting it rotor rooted out like every year, but maybe I need to move it up to every 6 months. I don't know.
Hmm.
I rarely run my garbage disposal. I rarely put anything down the pipes because I compost all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In the TMI category, I have a handheld bidet, so I don't need to use a whole lot of toilet paper either. So don't know.
Hmm.
Don't know what else I can do. And then you run into the cost. I mean, to get the tree down would probably be $8,000, maybe something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah. And how much longer will I be living here? That's something to consider too. So just one day at a time. So that's it. Anything exciting happening with you, Auntie? Oh, I did have house guests for a couple weeks. Mr.
Yes,
Killian.
that's
Yeah.
right.
So do you want to share why?
Yes, because I was in Europe for 2 weeks on a
Yay!
whirlwind vacation across Portugal, Spain, and France, Provence area specifically in the French
Mm.
Riviera. And it was wonderful. I mean, whirlwind trip, went with 5 other people, one of them being Auntie Mary. And she organized the entire trip for the 6 of us. And it was places, Portugal and Spain were never really on my list to go see. Just, I didn't know anything about the areas, and they were very interesting to see. Provence has been on my list for a very long
Mm.
time. I was very
Mm.
excited to see that, and the French Riviera, and they did not disappoint. I will be going back to those areas again someday.
Oh.
I really enjoyed them. And we had decent weather. We had a couple of rain days, nothing really to write home about, though. It was very cool. And we just tooled around and saw some things, sometimes together, sometimes separately. Les Beaux in France was beautiful and something I'd not heard of. That was something we had read about in some books Auntie Mary had gotten from the library.
Le Beau?
Les Beaux is an old city. It's a little village unto itself, but it's beautiful. It's all rock formations, and
Wow.
it's just spectacular. Ruins, the whole shebang. And but they've got little
Ruin.
shops there now, little restaurants there, and then you just keep climbing up until you get to where all the views are, and you see it's just beautiful. And it was a beautiful day. They had tried going the day before, but got rained out. Came
Mm.
back, and that was a day I wasn't going to be with them. Then we saw a video on YouTube about it, and we're like, and everybody's like, wow, that's really cool. Really wish we could have seen them. Like, let's just go tomorrow morning. Let's make that the first stop of the day.
Yeah.
So we did, and it was well worth it. We were there for a few hours, and I easily think we could have spent another 2 to 3 hours there
Oh,
relaxing,
wow.
just like
Yeah.
putzing through shops and having a nice lunch and all that wonderful stuff in the village would have been kind of cool. Yeah, that was one of the highlights for me. And I did a vegan food tour in Barcelona
Mm-hmm.
and
Barcelona.
and it was nice. It was she incorporated history as part of the walking tour as well, history of the city. So
Mm-hmm.
that was, I didn't expect that. I didn't know she was going to do that. I thought it was just going to be about the vegan food. It was supposed to only be a 3-hour tour. I think it ended up being about 4 hours. It was a
Wow.
very small group. It was just myself, another person, and the guide. So we chit chatted a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
it was very cool. I really enjoyed that a lot and had some really good food.
Ah, ah.
Nice was just beautiful. I don't even know what to say. I definitely need to go back and spend some more time there and do some more cool things. I was supposed to take a walking tour of Old Town the very first day I got there, and it got postponed to the next day from the tour company, which was a shame because had I done it the day I was originally intended to do it, it would have helped me map out what I would do the next day.
Mm.
Still would have gone to Monaco because I really did want to go see the Monte Carlo and just the beauty of Monaco, but I would have probably gone a little bit earlier in the morning to do that and then spent the rest of the afternoon just around Nice or vice
Mm.
versa, something like that. But I ended up doing Monaco smack in the middle of the day and then doing the walking tour of Nice later in the afternoon. And by the time we finished that tour, I was exhausted. It was far too much walking. I do not do that, folks. That is not me.
Wow.
But I wanted to see so many things, and the morning got away from me. I was looking for something vegan food, and I was walking all over. So I ended up doing extra walking that it wasn't even scheduled for that day. And regardless, I wish I had done the Nice walking tour the day before. And like I said, I
Yeah.
would have set
Yeah.
my last day there a little bit differently, but oh well. That just means I go back. That's all. And I'd like to go back because I didn't go to Cannes. I didn't go to Ez. I didn't go to Saint-Tropez. They were on my list to go see, but it was like, well, if I'm going to go back to Nice, I'll probably throw in those things. They're just quick train rides from Nice. I mean, quick, like 25 minutes train rides.
Mm.
They're very
Mm.
fast. So I would probably check out those areas as well if and when I go back. Or not if, when I go back.
Isn't it wonderful to have such a great train system?
Yes, it is amazing. And metro systems that are clean and easy to
Oh,
understand.
oh.
And I mean, everything is just, yes. And they still have Ubers and things like that. So if you just going
Mm-hmm.
to the airport, I probably could have taken public transportation, but I was just tired. I'm like, you know what? I probably could figure this out. But you know what? A couple of clicks on my app and I've got a car coming to pick me up. And he'll know exactly where to take me and drop me off. So done.
Is there any language barrier issues that you had, or?
I would say France was probably the hardest from a restaurant perspective. They didn't have a lot of English translated menus. So you kind of had, some did, I mean, a couple, but I would say that was probably the hardest one. Portugal and Spain usually had English menus as
Mm-hmm.
well. One of the people with us had the Google Translate app, which is
Mm-hmm.
actually really quite good that you can speak into it in your language and then show it on the screen to them what
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to say, and then you reverse the translation and they'll respond and then we read it, kind of thing. So that worked really well. It also, which was a really cool feature of the app, is you can take a picture of like the menu
Oh, yeah.
and translate that to English.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's not dead on. There's little quirks to
Yeah.
it, but you get certainly more of a gist than you do reading the other language that you don't know at all.
Yeah, you know that you're getting a hamburger rather than
Right.
frog legs.
Exactly. So it's good. It does a really, really good job. So that was very helpful on the trip for sure. All in all, good trip. 2 weeks is a long time for me to be away.
Yes.
I'm not, and that's not typical for me, although Eastern Europe a few years ago was a little bit longer than that. I do prefer a week to 10 days being gone. Still, good trip. And like I said, gave me some ideas of going where I want to go back to. But Portugal and Spain, probably not high on my list to go back to. Not that I didn't like them. I
Mm.
just, like I said, they were never really on my list to begin with. So I'd have to go do my own research and if I hear something cool, maybe. So never say never, but as of right now, I don't really think I'll be going back to Portugal or Spain. But I mean, not Monaco specifically. I saw it. I did like it. It's beautiful. But if somebody wanted to go on a day trip there, I wouldn't mind taking a quick train ride over.
The amount of wealth was pretty noticeable there in
Lots of
Monaco, wasn't
yachts.
it?
Lots of
Man,
yachts.
man, oh man.
But
I
people
just can't imagine.
weren't really dressed to the hilt there, I have to say. And now, granted, I was there during the day, not at nighttime.
Mm.
I did go into the Monte Carlo to take pictures, but again, it wasn't even open yet. You couldn't gamble yet. It was just a tourist thing. But maybe I'll put together a little photo montage of the trip and get that out for our
Yeah, that would be
that
lovely.
coincides with this episode release.
Yeah, the pictures you sent with those yachts and stuff. I just can't picture life like that. You see it on the TV, and yeah, wow. And then
Yeah.
you said the cars too were unbelievable.
Yeah, I didn't take a picture of the cars, but the cars in front of the Monte Carlo specifically were unbelievable. They're really decked out sports cars that cost gajillion dollars. And that, yeah, there were quite a few of those there. Let's put it that way. Different, brightly
Man.
colored too. Some were bright green and bright
Really?
yellow.
Really?
And yes, not luxury like, although there were Mercedes there for sure, but not like that. More the sports side is what was noticeable. That I was like, oh my gosh, okay. And I had the most expensive Aperol spritz of my life sitting at a little cafe in the square of the Monte Carlo. I had no idea. It was a €22, €22, which translates to about a $24.
Oh my gosh, for one drink?
Aperol spritz, which I drink often enough to know that they do not cost that much money.
Wow. Wow.
So that was, I should have, and I got two because I'm a big dope. And he had left me the check after the first one, but I never even looked at it and said, I'll take another. And because it was good people watching, just people taking pictures and being stupid, and lots of influencers. You could tell, just the way they were trying to get their pictures taken and stuff like that. It was just the weird poses and that kind of crap. So it was good people watching. So I was like, oh, it's a nice day. My train's not for a little while longer. This wasn't the last thing I was pretty much doing there. And I was like, all right, I'll have another one. And then then I actually looked at the bill and I was like, €44. Jesus.
Wow.
I got no food. It was just 2 Aperol spritz.
So you didn't even get a little bag of nuts or anything with that?
I had to ask for crackers because I saw my waiter gave crackers to another table, and I was like, but I had to actually ask for mine. This guy got no tip from me. I know that's rude. Well, it's not rude over there, but I usually still tip something. But this guy was just so ambivalent. And I was like, you know what? You're not going to get any. And it being $44 Aperol spritz, I'm like, you guys can take some money out of the Aperol spritz and give it to the wait staff because that's ridiculous. The most I think I've ever paid for an Aperol spritz out is maybe $12.
Like in New York or?
In New York, it might have been 15. So maybe I did spend 50. I don't remember because we always ordered other stuff. It was never just that. So I don't 100% know, but I got to believe New York was probably a little bit higher. You're right. Probably about $15 in New York, but certainly not 22.
Oh.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Well, you're living large, girl.
Not on purpose. That was a mistake. Had I looked at the bill and saw that they were $22 a piece after the first one, there would not have been a second one. Oh, well, lesson learned.
Hey, yeah. I mean, you want to spend it all anyway, right?
That's right. Die with nothing.
Yep.
That's the goal.
Yep. Well, you're on your way.
I'm on my way.
And I am too. What with the sewage backup. So yeah, there we go.
See, we're doing what we intended to do.
So any of you family out there who thinks they're gonna rake in some big bucks once we're gone, forget about it.
That's right. Yeah, and then I just got my COVID and flu shot this week, so that's about it.
Oh yeah, I need to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got them both at the same time in
did.
the same arm?
No, one in each arm.
Did you go to Safeway and get your $10
I did.
off?
So you get your coupons. Got to get your coupons.
Yeah.
So you get 2 coupons and 10% off your bill.
10% off? I thought it was just $10.
Oh, 10%.
Oh.
So yeah, and I had to stock up because I'd been away for 2 weeks, so I was out of pretty much everything.
Hoo-hoo.
So yeah, and I got 2 of them, but you can only use one at a time. You can't. Yeah. So I have another one for another time where I have to.
I gotta tell you, I get some of my meds from the Optum phone-in pharmacy thing through my insurance, but I've also had to get some through King Soopers. So I go to the King Soopers right down here by me. I'm going to stop going there and buying any groceries because they really piss me off. I went in there one day And there's this little, I mean, maybe less than 5 foot tall, little old lady with oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And she got a bunch of groceries
Mm-hmm.
and she's bagging them all herself. They're standing in the aisle, is one of the employees just
Mm-hmm.
standing there watching what's going on all up and down the cashier area. And I'm thinking, well, maybe this is a supervisor or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because if this was just a bagger or just, somebody, they should step in and help.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was wrong. This woman, she was standing right at the end of one of the checkout stands.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody came up to check out,
Mm-hmm.
a younger person, and this employee goes up and starts helping this younger person bag their groceries. Meanwhile, this poor little old lady with oxygen was bagging her own stuff. Even the cashier, the cashier should have stepped up and said, "No, you wait. I'll take care of that for you." No. And then I went
Now, what you don't know, the only thing I'll point out is you don't know if she said she wants to bag herself. She may have said that.
This poor old lady, I mean, she was in front of me and it was taking her a while. She looked at me and she said, "Oh, I'm sorry I'm taking so much time." And I said, "Don't worry about it. I got nothing but time. And we oxygen girls got to stick together."
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Yeah," she said, "I know I'm running out. I'm almost out." So you would think they would have stepped up and done what they could to get this poor woman out. I was just shocked. I was disgusted. So I went in this week to get a prescription filled and I wanted to pick up a few other things. And I go through the cash register and they go through. And of course, I'm writing a check.
Of course you are.
And the cashier's just standing there. I had the bags. I put them out there for them to, load up. I said to him, I said, "Don't you guys have people to bag anymore?" "Oh, yeah, there's somebody over there. Yeah, let me call him over." So he calls him over. He called him over not to bag, but to show him how to run through a check. So I guess it was a new guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, this guy starts helping with the bagging. Meanwhile, I'm doing most of the bagging. But that was one thing that pissed me off so much. I lived in New York, Westchester County, for a couple years in the 70s. And that was one thing that pissed me off so much there is they had nobody there to bag groceries. Everybody was bagging their own. So when I moved out here, I thought, well, this is civilization. I mean, they got people, they care about the customer. And now I'm going on and on and on about this. Anyway.
Well, I was just saying my suggestion would be write a review on the Google for that particular King Soopers, because that's what I did with the Safeway near me, because they wanted me to only use the self-checkout.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, no, I want a cashier. And they said, well, the cashier won't be back for 40 minutes. And I said, well, I guess I'll stand here for 40 minutes.
Oh, my gosh.
And I did. And then I went home and wrote that review. And guess what I've never waited for again?
A cashier?
That's right. I do bag my own, although they will do it. It's usually not a dedicated person. It's usually the cashier. But I do it myself just because I want my stuff in a certain way. So I prefer to do it myself. But that's never happened again. And if there's not a cashier, I will go ask them, and I always get a cashier. That's never, ever, ever happened again. So I would recommend writing something so the management knows.
Yeah. Well, I was planning on doing something. I was going to do it like through Nextdoor, but I think the Google review would be better. Yeah.
Yeah, because you'll get a response. Because I got a response pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Within a couple of hours.
Yelp? Did you do Yelp too?
Nope. I just did Google review.
Okay.
I went to their website. Well, I looked them up online. You don't actually click onto their website, just right there on the Google page. When it brings up that particular site, the grocery store location, I just write a review right there.
Thank you.
Yeah, they responded within a couple of hours. That's not how we normally operate. I mean, standing there with a full cart, and I was watching manager. I was also listening to a phone ring off the hook that nobody was answering because I was right in front of like the courtesy desk off to the side.
Oh my gosh.
And and I'm like, so I wrote about that too. And I was like, look, guys, I have no interest in scanning my own groceries and being a cashier. I did that job back in the day and it was a good job to have, but I've done that and I don't want to do it anymore. And you can't force me to do it. So I don't care if you get the store manager out here, somebody's ringing me out because I'm not doing it. And now they've actually changed it because of all the money they've been losing because people have been stealing stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how they didn't think that was going to happen. At least the grocery store I go to, it's only 10 items or less now that you can use the scanners.
Really?
It's not,
Well,
you
yeah,
can't even
yeah.
bring a full cart in there anymore.
Oh my gosh, why
Mm-mm.
would somebody even think? I guess young people feel they can do that, but
The
that's
only
too much work for me.
It is. The only time I have used them is if I really had like one or two things.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the other cashiers there was a line, and I'm just like, well, that's silly. I'm not going to make a point for this
Right,
for one
right.
item.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ran into that even at Whole Foods before, where I walked in, because I went early and I had not a cart full, but I had enough. And they said, all we have open are the self-checkouts. I said, sorry, no, you're going to have to get me a cashier. I'm the only one here. I'm
You
like, well,
go,
then I guess
girl.
it's going to be you.
You go, girl.
I'm like, I'm not. It's that, or I leave the groceries and I walk away. Your choice, but I'm not doing it. So yes, write a review. You might get some results that way, because they might not be aware. They probably have enough people on, but unless they're watching them like a hawk, do they really know that they're not helping people like they're supposed to be, or picking and choosing who they help versus?
Well, that was the one thing. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what really irritated me
Yeah.
is I thought that was like a supervisor or something
Mhm.
who was, just kind of
Mhm.
making sure everything. But then, I mean, it was a younger person too.
Mhm.
And then when that cashier opened up and this person goes through, and I'd say the person that she was helping was probably in her 40s, maybe
Mhm.
tops. And I'm thinking, what?
Mhm.
You're doing this for her, but you wouldn't do it for that
Mm.
lady that was here before.
Make sure you
Yeah.
know the day you were there and the time that you were there, so then they can look and see which employees were working, which
Oh, that's a
cashiers were
good, yeah,
working. Because
yeah.
I wrote mine as soon as I got home. So I
Mhm,
said,
mhm.
I just left the Safeway and this is what I encountered. And like I said, I think it was within an hour. I don't even think it was 2 hours. I had a response saying that is not how we operate. I'm very sorry that you had this experience. We'll make it right going forward. And they have.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So
Well, King Supers keeps track of all my purchases, so I can go back there and get the date and everything.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yep.
Good advice. Thank you,
Sure.
Auntie.
Stand up for yourselves, folks. And
You're
don't
right.
listen to
Right
people
on,
that call you
sister.
Karens, because I don't like that term. And I think that term is being used in a derogatory way and making people feel like they can't stand up for themselves. I call bullshit. You absolutely can stand up for yourself. And you don't have to
Oh,
be mean about it, but you can stand up for yourself and make sure that things go the right way.
that's interesting. I just picture the Karens as being people that complain because of racist.
No, so that's how it started, but now they've
Yeah.
lumped every time a
Really?
woman stands up for themselves, they're labeled a Karen. I chased a UPS driver down the road because he left a wrong package at my house because I wouldn't let
Oh,
in my socks. I looked like hell, like a car drove over me. I looked ridiculously bad and I didn't care. And I ran after him and said, you gave me the wrong package. And he's like, oh, it must be at your neighbor's house. I'm like, well, then you need to go get that. And you need to get me my package and deliver this package to them because I'm not doing your job. And how are you going to learn if I just do this for you? I was kind of thinking that people would call me a Karen for that one. And I was
oh,
like,
really?
mm-hmm. I just think the term is terrible. And again, anytime a woman is standing up for themselves, it's getting this awful label and I don't like it. So I just ignore it and do my thing.
Just don't change it to Auntie or Auntie Joan.
What do you mean? Don't change what?
Don't change Karen, the name Karen,
Oh.
to Auntie or Auntie Joan.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
I was not aware that it had extended beyond that point of just the
Yep. Just like everything
racist.
does. You get a label out there and people start.
like woke. Yeah.
So Auntie Joan, oh my
Yeah?
God, Bill Maher is 100% stalking us. And you specifically, I think.
Me?
I think so. Because on his August 31st episode of Bill Maher's Real Time with Bill Maher on the HBO Max and CNN, go figure, which is so bizarre.
Yeah.
He talked about Will Levis number 8 Hellman's cologne.
That went right over my head. I missed that.
And we recorded
Yes.
our Well, and you had specifically suggested that topic, that commercial, on August 22nd. So he is absolutely stalking you. And you guys are starting to share the same brain. How do you feel about that?
Well, that I don't particularly care for. I mean, I agree with him on some things, and some things he just really pisses me off. But yeah, you're right. He's done this before.
Yes. He certainly has. And like I said, ours hasn't aired yet. Ours is airing on Monday, September 23rd. So he got his out first, but we talked about it first.
Yes, we did.
So
we just, it's just wasn't put out in the nether universe.
That's
first.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And maybe we'll have to write to him at some point and say, hey, knock it off, mister.
Do you remember offhand what those other times were that he stalked us?
It was about Civil War. The movie Civil War.
Right.
And he had the same take on Civil War as I had. And same thing. We had already recorded it.
Yep.
It just hadn't aired yet. And then he blurted it out, almost not the same exact words, but similar opinions of the movie as I had. And his aired before ours. So yes.
There was another one too. And I don't remember what that one was either.
That one I don't know. But so it's happened 3. This is our 3rd time now. So it's getting a little suspicious.
Yeah, we might have to, I don't know, sue him for copyright infringement or something. I don't know.
Sure. Yes, I thought that was interesting because I caught up when I got back from the trips on Real Time with Bill Maher, and I saw that. I was like, oh my God. I can't believe he brought that commercial up.
Do you know if that was in the beginning, like his monologue?
No, it was New Rules.
Oh, usually I listen real closely to those too. But
it was part of New Rules. Yeah. Yep. I was like, look at that. So there you have it. You can go back and watch it.
We are trendsetters, and we know what's the haps.
That's right. We are trendsetters. And if you want to go back and listen to that Bill Maher, it was his August 31st episode, New Rules.
I will. Thank you for sharing that. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Now we're on to the part of our program where we discuss what we are watching. And I'm so excited about this one. It's so good.
Yeah, you're blushing.
Oh my God, it was so good. It's Kaos on Netflix. And what makes this so good? Jeff Goldblum. He's the best. I adore that man with an almighty passion. Always have. He just is such a good actor, and he's silly and fun, but mean and ferocious all at the same time.
Yeah.
And he's just so good. I think the whole show is really well done in general terms because it is relatively new, so we're not going to give away any spoilers. It is about Greek mythology and the Greek gods. And regular human beings are looking up to the Greek gods so much. They're the gods. I don't know what else to say. And how that whole story unfolds. And just the people they got to play the characters. So Jeff Goldblum being Zeus, honestly, perfect casting. Just mwah. Just mwah. I can't even explain. It's so good. But honestly, all of the roles were really well cast. I really think every single person who's in this series is just the right person for that particular role.
I agree.
Yeah. It's 8 episodes. God, I hope there's going to be a season 2. There's got to be.
There is talk. Yeah.
Oh my God. I can't imagine it not going on to a season 2. They certainly set it up for a season 2. It did not wrap up in any way, shape, or form at the end of season 1. So it's certainly primed for it. I hope it had enough viewership. And God, if you haven't seen it, please, please, please go watch it. So it does get a season 2 out of it. And it's just, I can't say enough. It's so good. Auntie Joan, your
I
take.
I rewatched episode 1 last night in
Mm-hmm.
preparation.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, Prometheus, he's like the narrator
Mm-hmm.
of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about Zeus and he says his walk.
Yes.
He mentions Zeus's walk. And the scene right after he says that is Jeff Goldblum walking down this beautiful, this ultra gaudy palace or whatever. And he's got on this
Mount
like
Olympus.
white, yes, he's got on like this green colored tracksuit, sweatsuit thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's walking, and the walk is just, it's not totally effeminate, but he definitely has some swing into and it's just perfect.
Yes.
It's
Agree.
perfect.
Agree.
He makes that role. He does.
He sure does.
And the woman who plays Riddy, she's really good. I like her too.
Yes.
I will make this one comment. I saw that you were watching it and I thought, okay, I'll watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And the first episode, I don't know. I thought this is too much. I don't get it. I don't think it's that good. But I went to the second episode and oh my gosh, they just hooked me. Hook, line, and sinker. And that's why when I went back and watched the first episode last night, I really, really enjoyed it much more the second time around than I did the first time.
It's got some good people in it. I love that they brought in Debbie Mazar as Medusa. She's I love her in almost everything she does. She even had a cooking show at one point with her husband. Maybe she still does. I have no idea. I think it was on the Food Network or whatever. And she's just, I could watch her in pretty much everything. Reiki Aola, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, who plays Persephone. I think she is so good. Hades is good. Everybody's good. Like I said, it's just so well done. The casting was spot on. There's not one character that I can think of like, oh, you're not in the good role. That's not right for you.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is perfect. I love it. I love it. I love everything about it. Can't say enough. I don't want to say too much of the storyline, folks, because it really is something that you have to experience. And I don't want to get too deep into it and give anything away because it's just, you really should just watch it.
I'll say this too. Well, okay, maybe the first episode I didn't do this, but then by the second, I thought, you hear of these gods and stuff, but don't really retain who they were, or what they did, or anything like that. So I got my little iPad. And I'm typing in all these, like when the character comes up, like Orpheus, his story. So I'd go in and I'd look at that to see how close they followed his myth, his story, and then the twists that they would put on it to make it current and stuff. It's so good.
Oh my God. Eddie Izzard as one of the Fates.
Oh, Izzard. I pronounce it Izzard. But yeah.
Oh, Izzard, whatever. But yeah, he is just, when I saw him, like, oh my God, he's in this? This is so awesome. The Fates, all three of them were great. Eddie's just one that I knew of before. I'm just like, that is such pristine casting. I can't even stand it. It's so good.
I loved seeing her again. I guess he goes by either one now. Because I looked that up too.
So good. And everybody has a fate.
Yeah.
And they know their fate. Everybody knows their fate.
Prophecy. Yeah.
Their prophecy. Yeah, that's right. That's what it's called. Yes. It's just, and what you have to go through I just can't even stand how good this show is. It's so good. It's so good. And Orpheus, who I adore in this, his real name is Killian Scott. So I love him even more because his name's Killian. And Janet McTeer, who plays Hera. Oh, she's my gosh, evil and wonderful and nasty and fantastic. And Prometheus is funny and he's funny too. I meant Poseidon. Poseidon is just ridiculous. I
really like Poseidon.
Oh, he's awesome. He's ridiculous. I can't stand there. Everybody is just so good in this. Dionysus is perfectly cast and ridiculous. They're all I can't. It's funny, it's serious, it's evil, it's got it all. It's the whole package, folks. I just love it.
And you do not want to be a ball boy for Zeus.
You do not.
We'll
No.
just say that.
No, you do not. That's
I
right.
liked Sharon. Sharon, he's the guy who took Orpheus and that other guy,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He was with Prometheus.
Dallas, who was the guy with the short arms.
Oh, yes.
I remember
Yes.
him from American Horror Story.
He was also in something else that I've seen, and I can't remember what it was. He was a rock star, has been rock star.
Huh.
In what I saw. And I want to say maybe it was the second Full Monty, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know I've seen him, and I know he was a washed up rock star,
Oh.
and they were trying to get him to do something like a commercial or something. I can't remember. And it just made him feel even more washed up at that point, because he still
Yeah, see,
was
that was
rocking
good
it.
casting on. I thought.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing. They just did such a great job. You could not ask for a better cast than
and
what
they
the show
did
is.
do a really good job. I mean, from what I could see, going back and forth to Wikipedia to see what the story was behind all these gods and stuff, they really did an excellent job of tying it in, making it contemporary.
I think these folks are going to win some significant Emmys in 2025.
They should. And the photography,
Oh, everything.
beautiful, beautiful. Yeah.
Everything. It's so good, folks. And I know we're talking it up a lot, and I hope we're not overselling it. But I did walk into it with low expectations. I will say that, because I'm not really into Greek mythology. I love Jeff Goldblum. That's what got me to watch it, to be frank. And when I saw it was about Greek mythology, I was like, ugh, about this. But all right, I'll give him a shot. And I was hooked. I will probably watch this 3 more times, at least until the next season comes out, for sure.
Kind of like a Fisk, huh?
Yeah.
I saw the thing on Netflix for Chaos, and I looked at the description and I thought, oh, pass. So it didn't grab me. But then when you said you were watching, I thought, okay, I'll check it out. So I'm glad I did. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure. When Auntie Joan had reached out to me, I was actually in Barcelona and had a day. It was a rain day, and I was just sipping on some wine and said, you know what? I'm going to throw on Chaos. And I actually fully intended just to take a nap to it, to be frank.
Yeah.
And then I was hooked. I didn't binge all the episodes at once, but I did finish it on my trip. I can tell you that, because I couldn't wait till I got back. There was no way. There was just no way. So
Very good. Yeah.
So
yeah.
good. 2 ginormous thumbs up.
You betcha. Welcome back.
Now we're on to the part of our program where we discuss commercials we have to talk about. Auntie Joan's got a gem for us today. What you got, Auntie Joan?
Well, I've seen this one several times and I found it annoying, but I guess I didn't feel it was worth mentioning. But I think I will this time. It's the Jacuzzi Bath Remodel commercial starring Christina Hall.
Oh.
And for those of you who don't know who Christina Hall is, she was on HGTV's Flipper Flop show with her ex-husband, who was her husband at the time, Tarek Malusa something. And they would go to these homes. They would buy them cheap and then, flip them.
Well, cheap is relative because it was in California.
Well, it was California. Yeah.
So millions of dollars houses, but less.
Yeah.
They usually flip them for much more than what they bought
To be
them
honest,
for.
I didn't even care for her on that show.
Correct.
And Larry, oh my gosh, Larry hated her.
Yeah.
He hated her voice and everything.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, this would be a good one to discuss now because there's enough stuff out there about it. So the commercial, basically, she's telling us that through this jacuzzi company, which we've all heard of, you can get your bathtub removed and a shower installed, I think like in a day or something.
They all say that.
Yeah. Which I question all of those because
my father's did not take a day.
No, I don't think it could because they have to put in, like the cement stuff underneath and
Yeah.
do all the water protecting and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you see in this commercial panels that they put up,
Mm-hmm.
they don't do tile, they do panels, which
Yeah.
they say is better because you don't have to deal with the grout and all that stuff. It reminds me of the cheap plastic
Yes.
stuff that they used to line bathrooms with in the showers and stuff. It could be better. Maybe it's better stuff,
It
but
is. At least my father's was. It
ah,
was. It's not the cheap plastic. At least he did American Standard, not
mm,
Jacuzzi.
mm,
So similar kind of thing. And it was definitely better material than the old plastic surrounds because I think
yeah,
I had
yeah,
that in one of my previous houses in one of the bathrooms.
yeah.
I didn't put it in; it was just there.
Well, no, you wouldn't.
No, actually, I ripped it out. I take that back. I ripped it out and tiled it. Well, I didn't
Yeah,
personally do that.
yeah.
I hired somebody to do that. But yes, I had an old surround in there and I had it remodeled to tile. Anywho, so it is better material than that from back in the day, but it does give that connotation. And for anybody who's had those old surrounds or know what we're talking
Yeah,
about with those
yeah,
old
yeah.
surrounds, I could see how it would cloud your opinion of what they're doing today. They're a little bit better materials, the overall finished look is similar, but when you touch the materials, it's better materials than it once was.
The material, the stuff that they show, the style and the colors on that jacuzzi
Mm-hmm.
commercial looks
Mm-hmm.
awful. I mean, there's nothing that they've shown that I would want in my bathroom, but that's me.
I did go to their website and there was one that was more plain Jane. It wasn't like, because I think they had one that almost made it look like wood,
Ugh,
like that
yeah,
gray wood that everybody's
yeah.
putting in there on their floors these days.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the vinyl planking, I think is what it is. Vinyl, whatever
Mm,
the hell it is.
mm-hmm.
Then they had another one that it looked like they gave the illusion that there were tiles, but there was no grout. It was just like indented into
Yeah,
the solid material. But there was
yeah.
one that was very plain. It was almost like an ivory color. So it wasn't bright white. It was more ivory. And I was like, if I were to do any of these, this is probably the one I would pick. I don't know because I really like the tile in my shower right now. So
I like tile too.
yeah, it'd
Yeah,
be hard for me to go to something like
yeah,
that because I just
yeah.
love the tile that the people put into the bathroom here.
And if you've only got one bathtub in your
Yes.
house and then a shower, that could be a something that might turn people off too. Because
Uh, it's not as much of a stigma as it once was. It used to be
well,
that way.
young families, they want tubs so they can bathe their kids there.
But for like a house like mine, which really isn't conducive to a family because
Yeah.
it's so small, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah,
And they
true,
do sell
true.
because there are baby basin kind of things that you can put into a shower. They make them special for showers.
Mm.
I looked into it at one
Oh,
point, not because I was having a baby, but because I was curious as to, well, what do people do if there's only a shower in the house and they have a kid, a child? And so they do have stuff like that. It's an extra expense, but it is something
yeah,
that
yeah.
somebody could do.
Workaround, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
But yeah, she's
after
super annoying.
well, there's comments. I thought she was annoying, but there's comments like out on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So glad someone else noticed this. Her voice. Her voice lifts at the end of every sentence as if it's a question. I know other women talk like that, like this, and it's annoying. It makes them sound less than intelligent.
Yeah, that is a big pet peeve of mine. I hear all the time and it drives me batshit insane. I'm like, you are not asking a question nonstop. And I have to tell you, it is prolific among the young women.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
My last job, oh my God. I was ready to scream because it was a lot of young people working there. And all of the women all talked like this. And then they said this. And then they went on like that. And I'm like, oh my God, stop talking like that. Just talk like a human. Like, I don't understand what you're doing. It drives me insane. Absolutely insane. When you sent me this link, I listened to Christina's chat and I was like, oh my God, she absolutely is doing that. And it's awful. Awful.
And it's not just that. It's where her voice comes from. It's like just the tone of it is,
Where her
I don't know.
voice comes from. That's cute.
Well, I mean, some people comes from deeper, from higher up. Somebody commented, had to learn about vocal fry. That's what that way of
Vocal
talk
fry.
is. Vocal fry, Fry. I'm not sure it's quite that at all. It seems that vocal fry is the annoying idiot blue-eyed girl explaining shit about her new NetSpend card, sounding like she's going to a presentation she didn't prepare for. To me, it sounds like low pressure air is leaking from somewhere. She seems like a hack based on her TV show. It's equally hacky mint. The most sing-songy limerick-like arrangement of her syllables for a jacuzzi commercial, and particularly the free fixtures for a limited time only. There are a lot of comments out there about how
Yeah.
annoying it is.
It just
But
makes you sound completely unintelligent.
yeah.
And the women I'm specifically referring to at my last job were very smart women. They just sounded like idiots. I'm sorry, they just did. Every sentence ends in the form of a question. Why aren't you on Jeopardy? Like, isn't that the Jeopardy thing? Everything in the form of a question. Like, it just makes you sound like you don't know what you're talking about. And how is anybody supposed to take you seriously, specifically in a work environment, if everything you say has to end with, we need to do this? Well, do we? It sounds like you're questioning it. Do we need to do it that way? Because I think it makes it sound like we don't. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't.
It's like fingernails down. Well, I would say a blackboard, but I guess people that are listening to us would know what a blackboard is.
Yes.
The youngsters today, the vocal fry gals wouldn't know what that is.
Oh my God. I don't know how that started. I don't know why it's so widely adopted. It's frightening.
Yeah,
I'm very nervous about that, the upcoming generation and their work environments and how women specifically are going to be taken seriously when they talk like that. Because I had a hard time. If I did not know these women well enough to know that they are intelligent, because when I first started, I was like, oh my God, what did I get? Like, because some of them reported to me. Okay. I don't know why am I the lucky one that got these folks? Definitely different personalities, that's for sure. But then I got to know them, and they are very smart. It's just you got to get through the way that they talk to find out that they are intelligent.
You would think
Scary.
It would be common knowledge that's not a good way to speak, and they would be actively trying to change that. And I wonder if this all started like with the Valley Girl thing. And then the Kardashians, of course,
Maybe. But the Valley Girl thing's been over for a very long time. These young women would have no idea what a Valley Girl is.
No, but it might have started back then, and then the manner of speaking just continued.
Well, the like is still huge. And that was a Valley Girl thing. Everything, like when you go to that was very much born from the Valley Girl world.
Like, I get it.
Yes. The ending the sentences as a question, that really wasn't a Valley Girl thing.
Okay.
Not that I remember from back in the 80s.
Yeah, don't quote me on it either.
Yeah, I don't remember it being like that. The like stuff, absolutely. That is huge. That was definitely born from the Valley Girl world and still perpetuates today. That has definitely gone across the generations.
You know who does a male that does talk like that?
Who?
The son on Schitt's Creek.
Yes, not with you're talking about the likes.
No, the ending stuff in a question.
I didn't really notice that. Maybe.
Okay.
I didn't notice it. I didn't notice it with him. And another one that is a pet peeve of mine that she doesn't do, ending words with, is it I'm trying to think now. I know. Ew. No, Like, what is that? But even on like Modern Family, my favorite shows, one of the children characters, Haley, she did that on everything. I know. And I'm just like, whoa, stop saying that. So yeah, it's another pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
Yes, but I
I
remember
hear ya.
seeing that HGTV chick and her ex on their shows. And though I like some of the remodeling things that they did, I didn't love them all. I don't know. He bugged me too. They both, I didn't,
Oh yeah.
them as a couple just,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and then now he's got another show with his new girlfriend,
Yeah,
wife or
yeah,
whatever. And
yeah.
yeah, no.
And she's meanwhile married someone else and divorced them. So
Okay.
I don't know what her marital status is now.
Couldn't say
Yeah.
dinner.
What I didn't like about her on Flip or Flop was she always wanted to put vinyl flooring in. And
Mhm.
I'm like a purist. I mean, if you're going to put in wood, and I know they were trying to keep the money down within the budget and stuff, but
Auntie Joan
yeah,
likes her wood.
I like my wood. Or tile, nice tile in the kitchen and bathroom.
I hear you, sister.
So, we're not saying don't do it. We're just saying it's there, and yeah, that's our opinion, and we're sticking to it.
All right, Auntie Joan, anything else you want to bring up with our listener today?
No, I think I'm done.
You think you're done? All
Yeah.
right. Well, then that wraps yet another wonderful Pickled Watermelon Rinds episode. This is Auntie signing off.
And Auntie Joan saying bye-bye now.
We thank you for listening. And remember, when life eats away at your core, make pickled watermelon rinds.